Hello fam, welcome to the African Diaspora News Channel. I am Wangil Zalalam, bringing you this report. Today I bring to you a report about the greatest heist in history, that is the French forcing Haiti to pay for their own freedom, basically for enslaving them. They had to pay them in today's money, billions. Let me read you the article that the African Report did and we'll come back. What France did to the Haitian people after the Haitian Revolution is a particularly notorious example of colonial theft. France instituted slavery on the island in the 17th century, but in the late 18th century, the enslaved population rebelled and eventually declared independence. Yet, somehow, in the 19th century, the thinking went that the former enslavers of the Haitian people needed to be compensated rather than the other way around. Haiti officially declared its independence from France in 1804. In October 1806, the country was split into two. King Louis, who had helped overthrow Napoleon earlier that year, sent 3 commissioners to Haiti to assess the willingness of the country's rulers to surrender. They were under negotiation because the Haitian people did not want to become slaves again. On April 17, 1825, the French king suddenly changed his mind. He issued a decree stating France would recognize Haitian independence, but only at the price of 150 million francs, or 10 times the amount the US had paid for the Louisiana territory. The sum was meant to compensate the French colonialists for their lost revenues from slavery. Baron de Macu, whom Charles X sent to deliver the ordinance, arrived in Haiti in July, accompanied by a squadron of 14 brigs of war carrying more than 500 cannons. Rejection of the ordinance almost certainly meant war. This was not diplomacy, it was extortion. With the threat of violence looming, on July 11, 1825, Boyer signed the fatal document, which stated that the present inhabitants of the French part of Saint-Dominique shall pay in 5 equal installments the sum of 150 million francs, destined to indemnify the former colonialists. Newspaper articles from the period revealed that the French king knew the Haitian government was hardly capable of making this payment, as the total was more than 10 times Haiti's annual budget. The rest of the world seemed to agree that the amount was absurd. One British journalist noted that the enormous price constituted a sum which few states in Europe could bear to sacrifice. They were forced to borrow 30 million francs from French banks. To make the first 2 payments, it was hardly a surprise to anyone when Haiti defaulted soon afterwards. Still, the new French king sent another expedition in 1838 with 12 warships to force the Haitian president's hand. The 1838 revision, inaccurately labeled Treaty of Friendship, reduced the outstanding amount owed to 60 million francs, but the Haitian government was once again ordered to take out crushing loans to pay the balance. Although the colonialists claimed that the indemnity would only cover 1/12 of the value of their lost properties, including the people they claimed as their slaves, the total amount of 90 million francs was actually 5 times France's annual budget. The Haitian people suffered because of the consequence of France's theft. The French government still has not paid or even talked about compensating Haiti for all the crimes they have committed. They've enslaved them, they've looted from them, and on top of that, they've cheated them out of their own money in the name of, you got your freedom, so pay up. $150 million. It's in billions now, in current day currency. And anybody who can think can see what happened here. It's obvious, the history speaks for itself, and there's evidence, there's newspapers, there's a contract they had to sign. They made the leader at that time of Haiti sign, and they stole from them. I agree with the saying of the greatest heist in history. They stole from them, not only from what they have, but they've also stole from their future because of that debt, because they had to borrow money from the French bank to pay them. It put them in a crisis where they cannot even come out of it. Even till now, it has followed them. The poverty line in Haiti is 59%. There are 59 That's really high. Do you know French poverty line? It's 14%, 1-4, and 59. Haitians, where they are right now, is directly related to France. They lied to them. Even when asking that money, when they're saying this will cover the costs, they were not even asking the actual cost, what it costs them. They gave a fake number that even France themselves did not lose that money. And they asked for that money and stole from these people. And now look at Haiti and look at France. Look at the difference between those two countries. Somehow France is living that.
Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai. Kohalo Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem HaKakodash. Shalom. Now this is just a quick video I want to get into about how France extorted Haiti, and I wanted to put some scriptures up there that go with it. So let's go Zechariah 11:5. Start at 4. 11:4. Thus saith the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter, whose possessors slay them, and hold themselves not guilty, and they that sell them and say, Blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. See, what these Edomites think is that they're in good standing, and that we were put in their possession as a blessing to them. But little do they know is that we're in that situation because we went off and we didn't follow the Lord's commandments. We kept sinning. Just as Habakkuk 2:4. Alright. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death. Yeah, that basically describes Edomite. And cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. That's actually like America as it is. Heaps all nations together. That's why we got military bases in all nations. Okay, and then we got one more scripture. It's Isaiah 33:1. So, woe to thee that spoileth, and thou was not spoiled, and deal treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make and to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. And that's all the Edomites have done to us, and that's what they did in this case with the Haitians. They extorted them, and they got the Haitians living at, I think she said it was above 50% poverty. And then compared to France's 14% poverty. They extorted them, stole money from the Haitians, and now the Haitians are just dead poor. The French are living good too. Yeah, so those are just some scriptures I just wanted to bring out with the video. Call halal Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem HaKakodash. Peace, Israel. Shalom.